Hello and welcome to Women Reclaiming Their Health. Yes, we are reclaiming our health in 2020 and beyond, okay? And my mission is to see women reclaim their health despite their age, setbacks, and challenges, okay? So, our topic for tonight is keeping your mental health sexy. We have with us the amazing Coach V, and I'm going to tell you about her here in just a little bit. Okay, so before I go any further, let me get into my disclaimer. Any information obtained from this group is not intended to be a substitute for professional care to treat, cure, prevent disease or illness. Okay, now Coach V is
Yes.
she is the CEO of SVM Initiatives LLC, where she offers alternative and holistic mental health and healing services. As a holistic certified life coach, national speaker, and author, she specializes in teaching audiences how to take charge of their mental health without medication, like she did. Near the end of 2018, Coach V created the Mental Health is Sexy trademark brand in an effort to make the attainment of mental health an attractive, alluring, and desirable thing. The Mental Health is Sexy brand has three key objectives. The first one is to change the narrative around mental health. Number two, to influence how mental health services are delivered. Number three, to erase the stigma around mental illness. All right. Now, Coach V is also the host of her own talk show entitled Healing Conversations with Coach V that airs on Spectrum TV's public access channel 24. She has a growing YouTube channel called Coach V, Mental Health and Healing Coach. She also has a podcast called Mental Health is Sexy with Coach V from the 513 that is available on all streaming platforms. And on January 31st of this year, Coach V released her first self-help book entitled Renew Your Mind, Take Charge of Your Mental Health, 8 Alternative Ways to Improve Your Quality of Life. Inside this book, Coach V shares the 8 techniques that she personally used to beat manic depression without medication. You can find the signed copy of her book, personal coaching program, offerings, and services, as well as support on her website, coachvmp.com, and she'll be sharing that in the link. So without further ado, let's give it up for Coach V.
In the building, in the building.
Oh, we got the claps up for you. All right, okay. All right. So yeah, so Coach V, mental health is sexy. All right, you are making this thing like out of like you taking it to another level. Okay,
Yes.
I love it. I love your colors. I love all of that. So tell me, tell the ladies there who, if you're joining us live, go ahead and click. Looks like somebody is coming, and yeah, go ahead and click on the StreamYard link so we can see your name. If you're catching us on the replay, go ahead and type in replay. Yeah, so Coach, tell us what you enjoy most about what you do and how you help people and just the whole mental health is sexy thing. Tell us about that.
Of course. So hello, everybody. It's a wonderful Wednesday. We're in the second day of fall. Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you first for having me, Coach Pam. I so appreciate it. I'm excited about tonight. I think if I could say the biggest thing that I enjoy about what I do is just helping people reclaim their personal God-given power. We in the Western culture have been trained from young, to trust medicine and everything outside of ourselves. But the work that I do through my own experience, my own example, and teaching techniques that I've found to work for me is help people regain and reestablish their God-given ability to heal themselves, as well as to end generational curses, to grow, to thrive. So not just live day-to-day life, but actually thrive and enjoy day-to-day life from inside out.
Awesome. So your journey, you talk about so much about like forgiveness and is that important?
I think forgiveness is huge, period. But self-forgiveness is a game changer. Again, we're always taught to look outside of ourselves, whether it's blaming someone, whether it's giving someone else the praise and thanks for helping us to achieve something. We're always taught to look outside of ourselves to something or someone else. And that's cool I just want people to also accept, understand, and appreciate that they have the power within first and foremost. We can do all of these different exercises and accolades and prayers and supporting other people, but we very rarely look at, acknowledge the power that we have within. So in order to progress and move forward, we have to forgive ourselves for doubting ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves for believing the horrible narratives that people have taught us that we eventually adopted and believed. We first got to forgive ourselves. So self-forgiveness is it's a game changer, because once you forgive you, you're able to have a different outlook and opinion on everybody else you come across. Because you have enough self-love to say, I'm sorry, or I apologize, or I didn't know, but now I do. So now you can use that same type of window when you look at other people. So it's a game changer personally, for humanity, for the community at large. Like, it's a game changer.
Now, I personally read your book, and of course, I still refer back to it. And I like the whole thing in the beginning. You talked about get your supplies together, like you taking us to school.
Yes,
like,
let's go. We got lessons to learn.
Yes, you said, get your highlighters, get your colored
yes,
stickers, get it all out. Okay.
Yes.
And then, yeah, you talked about like awareness, like self-awareness, like if I guess you can't really change, like you know, how do you increase your awareness? You know, because I know a lot of times, you know, things that are harmful to us they just keep happening. You know, how do we increase our self-awareness? Are there any tips you want to share? I know you don't want to give it all away because you're gonna tell my book.
But we're gonna wet some palettes a little bit.
Yeah.
So one of the chapters, one of the chapters in my book, I got it for referral because I don't be remembering all this stuff, right? Because I'll be doing so much. But one of the chapters in the book is actually chapter 2. Do not judge, just observe. And chapter 2 is specifically a lesson on teaching the reader how to increase their self-awareness by observing their thoughts day to day. So not judging themselves, but noticing how many times you think positive, how many times you think negative, how many times you hate on the next person, how many times you encourage yourself, how many times you put yourself down. So we can't heal what we don't acknowledge or address. So in order to increase that self-awareness, we have to learn how to observe our own thoughts. It's easy to watch TV or sit in a group and say, oh, you being negative, or you being a hater, or oh, that wasn't nice, or oh, good job for praising them. But when we turn that lens onto ourselves, we don't want to do that because we've been taught not to do that. So that's why after that forgiveness, we straight going into observing, paying attention, seeing how we think about ourselves, the thoughts that originate inside of us, in order to move forward and to heal and do better.
And now that's really good. That's good. I hope y'all taking notes. Now, when you talk about asking for help, you know, getting, you know, with someone like you, a lot of us are embarrassed to do that. What can we do to break this cycle of embarrassment, shame?
And that's one of the biggest challenges. A lot of times people are aware of things that they could do better with. I don't like to say the word change. I learned from Louise Hay studies that when you say you need to change something, it has a subconscious meaning that something's wrong. So I don't like to say change, but I will say grow. Personal growth is an ongoing journey, right? It sounds nice. It feels good. Personal growth. So when we're talking about personal growth, people know things that they should, and I hate to use the word should, so that's why I use quotes, what they shouldn't do, right? So people know if they smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day, that's unhealthy for them. So they know they should either lower the packs or eliminate it altogether. Parents know when they over discipline their child, when they mad about something at work, but then they're taking that on their kid. So they're aware of things that they should or could do different. We hear people say it all the time. Oh, girl, I shouldn't have did that. Oh, I shouldn't have ate that extra piece of cake. So we have that awareness. But the key point you mentioned, we are embarrassed, or better yet, another E word, our ego is in the way.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's another E word. So we don't want to tell somebody. We can tell ourselves, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. But when it comes to actually addressing it or seeking help, that ego and that embarrassment kind of bundles up together and it paralyzes us from taking action.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say, if we go back to self-forgiveness,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
meaning forgiving ourselves for being duped or forgiving ourselves for doing, saying, or thinking something that may not have been so pleasant, then we remove all guilt once we forgive ourselves. So by
Mm-hmm.
removing that guilt and by reducing or eliminating that ego and embarrassment, then we can say, okay, Coach Pam, I need some help. Coach
Mm-hmm.
V, I need some help. Dr.
Mm-hmm.
So-and-so, I need to talk to you. But
Mm-hmm.
we have to learn first that it's okay. It
Yes.
is completely fine and okay to
Yes.
want to grow and heal and thrive. It's
Mm-hmm.
completely okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then also too, I feel like having conversations like this is actually going to make it, more, relaxed for someone to be able to,
And
make that
normalize it. Yes.
normalize it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I appreciate platforms such as this, because I'm watching your group grow. So the last post I think I saw was over 600 women. So big
Mm-hmm.
congratulations for that.
Thank you.
What that says to me, though, is that there are women out there looking for a resource, a platform, a safe space to
Mm-hmm.
have these types of conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so kudos to you.
Oh, thank you. Hey, I couldn't have done it without y'all. Couldn't have done it without y'all. Yes, yes, yes. All right, now with tackling, now you can't be sexy if you stressed. Okay, so
Facts.
everybody's stressed out. The pandemic, kids at home, eating everything. They got, the people jobs are down, hours are cut. We got
Mhm.
racial tensions, depression. Some people are empaths to where they may not be going through these things directly. Some are going through it directly, but there are a lot of people that
Right.
carry the weight of others around them and just the world and community and society in general. So,
Hmm.
do you have any like coping suggestions or for, someone that's dealing with all these things or, you know,
Absolutely. So, keeping in mind that I come from a holistic and alternative space versus a clinical space,
mm-hmm.
and you can kind of tell if you kind of look at me with all my stones and my jewels.
Yeah.
I am very, very tuned in, tapped in, and turned on to the bigger picture. So, what
Mm-hmm.
that means is by me myself being a very sensitive empath, I take a lot of time during self care.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I first tapped into my abilities to pick up either by touch or as I advanced just by energy, the feeling in a room or the feeling in a crowd or the feeling from someone I'm just talking to, whether it's in person or virtually, I had to learn how to separate their emotion from my emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And how I did that was I would take what's called a self inventory. And I still do that till this day. And I'm almost 10 years into practicing alternative and holistic medicine. I take a self inventory. So if I know that my day to day life is not as such that I should feel angry or should feel sad or crying all the time or my stomach's upset, I stop mid track and I say, okay, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
What happened that I missed or forgot that I need to address? What's bothering me? And sometimes I physically have to make a list. It could be something small as I chipped a nail the other day and didn't file it, or it could be something as big as I lost a loved one. But if nothing on that list is coming from me in my personal space, then I go back and say, okay, who did I just encounter? What did I just read online? What
Mm-hmm.
did I just see on the news? What did
Mm-hmm.
I just hear on the radio? What
Mm-hmm.
part of this movie I watched just triggered me? That's how those types of exercises allowed me to be able to ascertain what's my own emotion and what's
Mm-hmm.
something I picked up. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I can pick up something walking in Walmart past somebody because I hear them on their phone. Or I'm
Mm-hmm.
sitting in traffic and I hear somebody on their phone. I
Mm-hmm.
have to right then and there and say, okay, that's not my emotion. So let me let that go. Let me release that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some holistic things or alternative things that I do to help protect myself because I believe in it is I wear a black stone every day. Whether you can see it or not see it, I wear it. So
Mm-hmm.
today you can see it. I have that's the purple one. This is black tourmaline. So
Mm-hmm.
any black stone period is good for grounding and energy cleaning and balancing your energy. But I personally wear black tourmaline and I also do wear hematite. I have to double up
Mm-hmm. All
because
right.
I'll be picking up stuff. So essentially, what these black stones are meant to do is to absorb and release negative energy I encounter. Now, the stone obviously doesn't do it on its own because it's just a stone, right?
Sure.
So
Sure.
I also have to be aware, and it's fair to say that by me wearing this stone makes me aware that
Mm-hmm.
I'm protected and makes me hypersensitive to making sure that is this my emotion or is this someone else's emotion,
Mm-hmm.
and deal with it accordingly. So sometimes people believe, yeah, the stones actually have this energy to do that, but then other people believe it's just as a reminder. Just
Mm-hmm.
like we might wear, this is so old school, right? But just
Mm-hmm.
like we might put a string around our finger to remind us to get milk from the grocery store,
Right.
you know,
Right.
a stone or a bracelet can be that same type of reminder. But
Mm-hmm.
also, too, if you're out in I used to work in the funeral industry.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I used to do between leaving the office and my commute home, I would ride with the radio off. If the weather was nice, the windows down. But I would do a silent prayer to release any and all energy I may have picked up from work. So,
Mm-hmm.
not just because I was around people who've transitioned, but also people in the office and their garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it has to be a regular routine, a regular practice, whether you have a physical reminder like a stone or not, that you
Mm-hmm.
just cleanse and release whatever energies you picked out in the streets so that you
Mm-hmm.
don't bring those things home. Your home has its own type of energy that you have to deal with and balance. So you don't want to bring anything from the outside in. But first and foremost, you have to be able to ascertain, am I really mad? Or
Mm-hmm.
did I pick up somebody else's energy? So again, it circles all the way back to self-awareness.
Sure, sure, sure.
Mhm.
So even how we speak to ourselves, our thought patterns have power. Um,
Absolutely.
I guess how, because so many, I mean, watching the news on, like you said, sometimes you just want to be alone with your thoughts and just be able to
Mhm.
just meditate. Um, as far as those negative thoughts and influences that come in to us, um, once those are there, do you feel that all is lost, or do you feel like there's, you know, where do you go back to at that point once those thought patterns take over? Because sometimes they just don't let you go. You know what I mean? So,
So I remember that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And by
absolutely.
me remembering that, by me literally sometimes having to say that out loud to myself to snatch my energy back together, because she
Mm,
tried to run away sometimes. She do.
mhm,
She tried to get on up through and go down the rabbit hole of negativity. So
mm,
I remind myself two things. One, that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And two, I remind myself who I am and of whose I
mm,
am. So this
mhm,
doesn't have to do with religion. We're talking about straight spiritually. If the
mhm,
Bible says I'm made in his image, if you subscribe to that, then I'm in fact made in his image. So
mhm,
what that means is I have similar abilities, strengths, power, magic, whatever you want to call it, to
mhm,
choose to
mhm,
overcome any and every negative, ill-intended, ill-willed thing, person, or place that's in my space.
mhm,
A lot
mhm,
of times people forget that control.
mhm,
So in the beginning, when you asked me what was the most favorite thing or the best thing I enjoyed about the work that I do, and I stated that I remind people of their God-given power,
mhm,
that's where
mhm.
that comes from. Because
Awesome.
we've been taught to forget who we are and how powerful we are.
Mhm, mhm,
We think that because the news comes on at 4 in the morning and it don't go off until 10 a.m., that we
mhm,
have to sit for 6 hours and watch the same negativity over and over and over. And then we got to turn the news on at 12. And then we got to catch it at 6 or 5:30 or 4:30, whatever it comes on, and watch the same thing up until 11 o'clock at night.
mhm,
We're inundating ourselves at that point with negativity.
mhm, mhm,
I'm
mhm,
all for being informed all
mhm,
day. I can
mhm,
pop into a news station, see what I need to see, and pop off. But
mhm,
I refuse to sit there and watch it over and over and over and inundate myself with
mhm,
negativity.
mhm,
I can
mhm,
feel the shift energetically inside of myself when I do that.
mhm,
Even certain movies, entertainment, certain songs. So we must first understand that we have a choice
mhm.
to not be inundated with the foolishness.
That's
If
good.
you have a timeline on your social media and it's all negativity, fight videos,
Mm,
raunchiness, disrespect, problem after problem, death after death, clean up your timeline,
mhm, mhm,
clean up your friends list. You have a choice. So many people think they have to sit and be inundated with foolishness, and that's not true. So we have to make a choice to stand up for ourselves. If you're a parent and somebody messing with your kid, we ready to be 14 and go beat that other kid up. We ready to snatch somebody's kid up. We're ready to fight their mom and their daddy because that's our baby. Someone's messing with our baby. But when it comes to us, we'll excuse stuff and excuse stuff and excuse stuff and read stuff and listen to stuff and gossip about stuff and text about stuff and email about stuff and go to lunch with our friends and talk about it. Girl, did you see this? And we'll share this video. We are making a choice to be inundated. Now, that doesn't mean to not be informed. Because sometimes people think, oh, you just want to act like everything rainbows and sunshine. Or you just want to act like the world. Oh, no, I'm very clear that the world is messed up, that the people in the world is messed up. I'm very clear. I don't live in La La Land. I don't live someplace where I think it's all rainbows and sunshines. I'm just very clear that I don't have to choose to be inundated with the foolishness. I've worked too hard the past 10 years to be who I am today. And no longer be the woman to jump out in the street right in the middle of traffic to fight somebody, or to run up on somebody, or to, because I wasn't a talker. I didn't talk too much. I worked too hard to no longer be that woman. So if I today have to do things to choose to keep that part of me under wraps, then that's what I got to do. So if I look soft, if I look like I'm clueless, if I look like I don't care, if I look like I'm in La La Land, that's you and your perception. I know that I'm doing what I need to do to protect that old part of me from coming out.
I love it.
And people have to choose to do that. And a lot of times people aren't taught that they have that choice.
I know.
So again, it's all circling back around to self-awareness, right? To self-awareness and to forgiving the lies that we were told about ourselves.
Awesome. Now, I know you do your mukbangs, the candlelight meditation. So tell us about those two things: the mukbangs, candlelight meditations, and all of that. Yeah.
So I was thinking about the mukbang when you were reading the bio, and I'm like, oh, I didn't send her the update because I just started the mukbangs. September 1st. I love it because I'm having so much fun doing that. So I'm on YouTube, as Coach Pam mentioned. My YouTube channel is a Coach Mental Health and Healing Coach. And Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I upload what I call a mental health mukbang. So it is a candid conversation about mental health while I enjoy a meal. Sometimes I have the meal sponsored by a local small business owner, and I shout them out. We're creating a village. You know, they're sharing my link, and I'm representing their company. But then a lot of times, I'm just eating what I got in the house, whether it's leftovers, whether I made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like, it's just the fact of just having a meal and talking. And the mukbangs are more... Let me change that. They're less polished than when I'm speaking, right? So when I'm speaking, I'm all professional and I'm using, but the mukbangs, honey, we eating, we smacking. I'm telling you how I really feel about situations, but there's also a lesson in each conversation. So it's not just like, oh, I'm just covering a trending topic or talking about something that somebody might have inboxed me a question about. There's also a lesson there. A lot of times I'm plugging book because there's lessons in my book that coordinate with the topic that day. But I would love for you ladies to check out the playlist. It's all nice and neat on the playlist. We're on episode 10 of the mental health mukbangs. And I envision this being something big and having bigger sponsors. And I want to be on site in restaurants eating and talking about this because mental health is not a trend. It's something that has to be talked about day in, day out. Because people are looking for resources and need help. But a lot of people are shying away from the clinical space. So I'm like, everybody eat. Everybody low key want to talk about mental health. So let me put those two things together and make something pop.
Make it pop. And now also make sure when we get in there that you put your information down in case we have any listeners on that want to sponsor Coach V.
Absolutely.
With the meal and let her promote your business because
absolutely
it's popping around here. Okay.
And the good thing about it is now that since it's a new project, there is no charge to be a sponsor.
See there,
you just provide a small, meal or dessert. Tell me what it's called, what you want me to call you. Give me your information on how people can reach you, website, phone number, social media, and that's what we doing. Like, And it's just not a one-time promotion thing. Like I'm pushing and promoting heavy with these people, and I'm tagging these people every time because I want to grow that space. Now I can't make no guarantees a year from now when we blow, but right
Yeah.
now there's no charge to be a sponsor because I'm growing the platform.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So make sure you put that information down there if anybody's interested in contacting Coach V for the Mukbang food sponsor as well. And yeah, so yeah. Now, the candlelight meditations. Are you still in
Yes.
those, or are you doing like a virtual or a party?
So I'm gonna be honest. I appreciate technology and I appreciate virtual.
Mhm,
However, I am old school. I like
mhm,
to be in your face. I like to be hands on. And if you can't tell, I'm very expressive. I talk with my hands. I make these weird faces when I'm speaking. So I think there's just such a different energy that happens when I'm in person. So I'm
mhm,
looking forward to, we're going to cross our fingers and our toes, 2021, that's opening back up. And I would love to travel and do these. And the reason why I started them is because a lot of times people hear about meditation, whether they hear it from their religious organization, whether a friend told them about it, whether they learned about it at school, whether they saw it online. But a lot of people have a challenge when they first meditate.
mhm,
And that challenge is what we call mind chatter. It's 55 thoughts that come into play when they're trying to meditate. What's for dinner? This chair too hard. Why the kids yelling? Where
mhm,
my spouse at? Oh, I want them pair of shoes. I hope I get that coupon. I don't want to go to work tomorrow. All these things just bombard your thoughts when you're sitting and being still. And
mhm,
I learned through my own practice that if I have a focal point while I'm meditating to bring my attention back to, over time, I won't need the candle because I
mhm,
done practiced so much that I'm able to now just mentally bring my thoughts back to center. So
mhm,
that's the idea behind the whole candle meditation, is just to teach new people or sometimes seasoned people who want to do something different on how to get a focal point and how to use it to help you improve your meditation.
mhm, mhm. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So, and then you also do workshops as well. So I know. And the
Yeah,
thing is, this mental health is not going away. COVID,
it's
no
not.
COVID, it's not going away, is it?
No, it's not. No, it's not. I think it's more attention is being brought upon it because of COVID. But it's so funny to me because I'm like, oh, now everybody care. You see these commercials on YouTube and these commercials on TV now where everybody's talking about self-care and alone together and how to fight depression and, bipolar. Like this has been here. Y'all late to the game. Like this has been
Mhm,
here. But that's why it's important for people like you and I to continue to speak and talk about how nutrition affects mental health, how physical exercise affects mental health, how all those things are tied in together because there's been such a focus on the physical for so long that
mhm.
the mental seems like it's kind of catching up, but it's been here.
Yeah.
Every day you have newer celebrities speaking up and talking about they had a bout of depression. You had, I'm always call her our first lady,
Mhm,
Michelle Obama, admit to having a low grade of depression.
mhm.
I've never heard that term,
Yeah.
but it's levels to this. And people
Mhm.
be experiencing mental health challenges and not even knowing that's what it is. They just
Wow.
know they've been sad for weeks.
Mhm.
They just know they haven't had an appetite and they don't have a bug or they're not pregnant or none of those physical things are going on. They just don't have an appetite or they're overeating.
Mhm. Mhm.
Their hair's falling out. People
Mhm.
know the word stress, but it's
Mhm.
kind of like it stops at that. Oh,
Mhm.
I'm stressed. Okay, how long been stressed? Oh, 6 months. Okay,
Mhm.
pause. Something else going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then there's such an emphasis and a push into the pharmaceutical area. And I want to be clear to anyone listening, I am in no way, shape, form, or fashion against clinical treatment, against medication. I'm for people doing and finding what treatment plan works for them.
Yeah. Mhm.
My platform is just about how it didn't work for me and empowering other people to be tuned in, tapped in, and turned on to their inner power in doing the real work. For
Mhm.
me, the pill treated the symptoms of depression.
Mhm.
It didn't help me find out, identify, and cure what was causing the depression.
Mhm.
Only real soul work did that. So,
Mhm.
but I don't want nobody listening like, oh, Coach V said don't take my medicine. No,
Yeah.
she didn't.
Mhm.
Just like your disclaimer at the beginning of this conversation. I never said that. I even have a disclaimer in my self-help book
Mhm.
because my book is just a resource teaching people there is another way. And you make the decision along with your doctor, if there's a doctor present, if this way works for you. But don't be talking about something Coach V said because she did.
Right.
Let's be clear.
I know that's right.
Be clear. Let's be clear.
Yeah. So we go to the comments. People saying good evening. Rima saying self-forgiveness is key. So we got a lot of people watching saying, just making comments saying they surround themselves with positive people and
very important.
Getting rid of the toxic people, all of that. So yeah. But yeah, definitely. Did you have anything else you want to add as far as like staying motivated in this mental health journey?
Yes, I want to comment real quick. You said someone said about staying around positive people. Chapter 6 of my book is entitled "Don't Be Afraid to Change the People Around You."
Yes,
because it's so important that while you're doing this work to improve you, that you have people around you to support you. There are people invested in you being the same humdrum, negative, angry, ready to fight, drama filled type of person. They're invested in you being that type of person. You give them something to talk about. But when you begin to grow and heal and do the work necessary to be a better version of yourself, those people who don't want to do that work, they slowly make themselves your enemy because they're not supporting you. Why you want to change? You think you brand new. You too good. You forgot where you came from. Why would you want to stay the same?
Right.
Why is it bragging rights that you've been the same person since high school for 40? Like, why is that cool in the streets? Everything. Our skin sheds so many days. We get a new layer of skin every so many days. I was even thinking about it. The seasons change. Our hair, like everything changes. Why are you so proud that you sang? I don't want to be around nobody like that. So it's imperative to change your circle so that you're around people that want to help encourage you. And then you can in turn encourage them while they're growing. So I would love for anybody who wants to know any more detail about the tips. This is my self-help book. It's only 68 pages. There's no fluffing here. There's no fluff. I'm straight to the point because I need you to understand that you have the power to do this. And I want it to be as simple and clear as possible. 68 pages. That's it. 8 chapters, a chapter for each technique that I used to beat manic depression without medication. People have used this information in tandem with their clinical treatment. Some people have used it without having clinical treatment, just use this book and the exercises attached. My website is www.coachvmp.com. V is spelled VEE, just like on my label here on the screen. Coach VM is a Mary P as in Paul, coachvmp.com. You can see my self-help book there. You can see coaching programs. You can see a few products that I'm creating to help you along your mental health and healing journey. And the holiday season is coming up. Gift yourself, gift your neighbor, gift a friend. You know, but this is time. 2020 has made us all sit down and look at, whether we want to admit it or not. 2020 has made us all sit down and look at ourselves. The way that we parent, the way that we work, the way that we exercise, the way that we interact with one another, the way that we celebrate birthday. Like 2020 has really made us sit down and reevaluate what's important and what we can let go. So this is a perfect opportunity to get our lives all together, deal with and support our mental health, and be sexy while we doing it.
Sexy, y'all. She got the shirt, y'all. I got one of her shirts. I see them on her shirt. Okay, y'all. So she just gave the information to you, and she's also going to drop it when we're done in the link on this live here, so you can reach out to her. You can message her because mental health is sexy, y'all.
Period.
Yes. Okay. If there are no questions, everyone, I guess y'all will catch this on the replay. So
yes,
it's been awesome, Coach.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by live as well as on the replay. Yes. Black Girl Magic, we're doing it. Yeah.
Okay, so you shared it. Okay, all right. Yes. Okay, all right. Love it. Y'all have a blessed evening.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.